Rochelle. Thank you everyone for joining us today for this webinar on apps and services, monetizing fast broadband. Let me share my screen, and Rochelle, let me know if everything looks good.
Yep, I see it, but
okay.
There you go, yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you once again. I appreciate your time, and I'm hoping it will be well spent. So let's kind of jump into this. Apps and services, I mean, we're all familiar with mobile apps, and they are pretty much how we interact with most of the services. So that over the last several years, Zyxel has offered mobile apps with our Wi-Fi products, more recently with other gateway security products. And quite often we get a bunch of questions related to apps in terms of the features how we decide on how the features we include, how we decide on the features we exclude, and then customizations and stuff like that. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of give everybody like an under the hood view of apps, and maybe that'll help answer some of these questions that we get often. So that's kind of how I came up with this apps and services, and so let's kind of jump into it. So agenda, apps and services. Well, I'm just kidding. No point. I mean, it's Thursday. We can have a little fun. So let's jump into this apps, and okay, let me okay, so let's start with this short video. Now, we are not promoting any products here. This is just to make a point. So I hope you can hear
observing your safe driving
the
abilities.
video
Play
as
your
well.
cards right, and you could be in for a tasty discount.
I can hear it, Jake.
Let's roll. Hey,
awesome.
Check it out. One time I tripped on the sidewalk over here. And a high of 89 degrees. Ooh! Who just gives away wood?
A Snapshot app from Progressive rewards you for driving safe and driving less.
There's an app.
Save money.
Beth. Well, that came out of nowhere. There's plenty.
The app usage, so what I was saying is that the whole point of this slide is to kind of give you an overview of how an average user interacts with mobile apps, and how many do they have, and where in this entire universe of apps do we belong to. Okay. Next, I wanted to show you was, as I mentioned, I wanted to take you under the hood on what is our thinking behind creating these apps. So whenever we are talking about app development, these are the top priorities for us. And a lot of these things that we have developed is over the years based on a ton of conversations with all our customers. And that's how we've kind of, we come up with these key attributes that we want to cover with our apps. So the first and the most important thing with any app is it has to be simple. If you have to explain or teach people how to use an app, it is going to be useless. So that is extremely critical. And that's first and the foremost, and that kind of dictates everything else we do throughout the app creation process. The second, keeping in line with that, is have a very clear target audience. In our case, we decided early on that we were going to create this app for the subscribers and not the installers, not anybody else. It was for now, quite often, and a lot of our customers use service providers do have their installers use the app as well. They find it very useful, but that was not our goal, or we did not keep them in mind while creating the app. And that is extremely important, because if you're serving multiple masters, then you're not doing justice to anyone. And that was really important. Once you decide that we are creating the app for subscribers, then it is extremely critical to know that what is an average subscriber, how tech savvy is an average subscriber, and how can we make this tool most useful to them. So in our case, we focused essentially on just the top features that 95% of our subscribers were going to be using or will find useful. We did not try to, because if you try to, again, for the same reason, then it becomes too complicated and then nobody uses the app. So it was, whenever we settled on something, it was critical that it was extremely simple, and not just a few people would find it, everybody would find it simple and useful to use it. The other thing is offering intel and not data. I mean, yes, we are collecting a ton of information, the gateway does, and you can show a lot of information, but is it helpful? Instead, we just focused, how can we convert the data into intelligence that would be useful to the subscribers? So here are a couple of examples right off the bat, and I'll show you more later on, but this is our Wi-Fi app that goes along with the Wi-Fi products. And you can see on the dashboard, this is what you will see. You'll see the gateway, and if there are extenders, you will see them listed over here underneath where it says mesh devices. So the point is, you can click on any one of those and then change the name of your Wi-Fi network, look at the password, stuff like that, right off the dashboard. The other idea is this big tile here that shows you the total number of connected devices. Again, that is a very useful information. Right off the bat, you know how many devices you have on your network. The third is your guest Wi-Fi. Again, if it is on or off. If it is off, then by just toggling the switch right off the bat, you can turn it on. Again, very simple. And then you see, well, if you click on the connected devices, you'll see all the connected devices there. And then you see this icon. Again, this icon is very useful. If it is green, and when you click on the icon, it'll give you the dictionary, tell you what these icons mean. So green means the signal strength is really good. Red means, you're a little far. Or if it is blocked, so again, simple information that you can use. And then the last point, and again, this is a result of a lot of conversations that we've had with our customers, that the whole purpose of this self-help tool is to reduce support calls and not to add to them. So, okay. So having looked at what goes inside our plan to develop an app, let's look at the equally important question of what goes into or maintaining and keeping an app up to date. Now, this is the real tricky part, because this is this is a real reason why you don't see a lot of companies have apps, because I'll show you why. So first of all, we have a very broad portfolio of CPEs, and the apps kind of run across the board. So there are a ton of these apps that a ton of these devices. We want to make sure that whenever that they are all being tested to work well with the app. Not just that, each of these devices, as we upgrade firmwares, and we do anywhere from 2 to 3 firmware upgrades for each device per year, we have to simultaneously manage the app. Anytime we change or improve a feature or make changes, it has to be each device with a couple of firmware, older and current, and a new firmware. So at least 3 or 4 different firmware we have to test and make sure everything works well. Now, already you can see how this is getting a multi-dimensional complex problem. So this is on the Zyxel side, but that's not all. Now you've got the Android. So Android does their own changes with their platform. So we have to maintain interoperability with different Android platforms. iOS, again, Apple has multiple operating systems simultaneously, and we have to make sure that it works tested against all of different. And finally, all the top devices, not just in North America. Zyxel is a global company, so across the globe, we have to make sure that all the top devices, quite often, even though they're running, even though sometimes they're all running Android, they might have some different variations of it. And that could, because it's an open source operating system, so that could create issues. So we have to test across at least all the top. And in fact, we do. Every year we take the most popular phones and send it to our headquarters for interrupt testing. So anytime you have a mobile app, these are all the things. Every time we come out with a new product or a new firmware, or there is a Android or Google or Apple comes out with a new firmware, we have to go through and do all these tests. So just that's kind of how the maintenance goes. So hope this kind of gives you a flavor of, again, the whole process of app development and maintenance. So having looked at the apps, let's look at some of the services. And we will, again, look at these services from the perspective of apps. So let's kind of do it that way. Okay. So as you all are kind of clearly aware, we're in the prosumer. It's a combination of professional consumer era. We are squarely in this, and in fact, the last year, whatever happened, expedited the whole dependence on broadband and online services by at least 4 to 5 years. As you can see, this is a study from Gartner that says pre-pandemic, about 30% of the people working from home. Now it's going to be closer to 50% that are going to work from home at least 2 to 3 days a week, which kind of has massive implications on broadband usage and the services surrounding broadband, right? And again, Wi-Fi video, top line, kind of top level usage services. And here's the most latest broadband household survey from Q4 of 2020. And of course, you can see that the average speed, the median speed has gone up significantly. The amount of data being used has gone up. But here's one stat that is really important. An average home has at least 4 streaming services. Now, that is important from 2 perspectives. One is Wi-Fi or video over Wi-Fi is extremely important. The second is the more online streaming services they add, it kind of has direct impact on the video services that service providers are offering, which means that there's all the more need to add other premium services to keep up the ARPU for service providers, right? And to that effect, managed Wi-Fi over the last 3 to 4 years has been an extremely important service. And if Rochelle, do we have this poll?
Sorry, Jake, I don't have that poll.
Okay. So let's look at MProMesh product ecosystem, right? So that's Zyxel has a Wi-Fi 6 MProMesh solution, and again, this is essentially it's an ecosystem of products. We have a range of gateways and combined with extenders. And essentially, the intelligence, the Wi-Fi intelligence that's built underneath is mesh powered, is easy mesh powered, and you can see we also include a mobile app that goes with it. Now, the mobile app is not required, but we add it as part of this system to help you and to help your subscribers take care of a bunch of the regular operations and reduce your support calls. So let's look at, we can have a totally different webinar and we can talk about MPro Mesh, and we have done that. But since we're just focused on services and apps, let's just focus on the MPro Mesh app. So again, keep it simple. This is a self-help app, but again, device intelligence, the top features, network device list, Wi-Fi name and password, guest Wi-Fi, pause, cloud managed, and the whole app is cloud managed, so your end users have access to all of this information from anywhere they go. Not only is it cloud managed, but the whole setting up or starting an app, as soon as you download the app, it takes literally less than a minute for them to install and get the app to work. So all of those things are extremely important. Let's look at some of the features. We've already talked about the dashboard where they can, they can take the router or they can look at the router and any other devices that they have connected to the home network. And then we have connected devices tab where they can see just the total number of devices that are connected, guest Wi-Fi. Next up, if they click on the connected devices tab, or if they can click on the devices button down below, they'll show or they'll see a list of all the connected devices, right? Again, I explained what these icons here are. Finally, if you click on, the gateway icon, you can see the password. You can change the name of your of your Wi-Fi network, or you can click this icon and look at your password. That itself will save service providers tons of phone call and make it much easier for the end user. Next up, so if you click on any one of these devices, the other aspect here is device intelligence. So on purpose, I didn't want to change. So there is the system, the app automatically recognizes the devices. So for example, I have an Amazon Echo at home. So it does not tell you it's an Amazon Echo, but Amazon E, that's good enough hint for you to know what it is. And then you can easily change the name of this icon. You can do that. And then this particular BRWD, now it might not mean anything to you, but to me, I know I have a Brother wireless printer. So that is enough of a hint for me to know that that's a Brother a printer, and I can then change the name and call it a printer. Again, desktop, I have a laptop, and then this is my phone. So this, again, for an average user trying to figure out MAC addresses, it's extremely difficult. So this really helps. And then once you click on any of these devices, you can block it. Now, this one feature, I mean, yeah, you talk about parental control and timing, setting up different times where your kids can access the internet or block it. Those things are great, and we'll talk about that. But just this one simple button to block the internet on a specific device that your kid is using is the best argument to get your kids to the dinner table. And and its most commonly used feature, parental control feature. So we decided to, we created this, and not just that, easy, just do that and right. It'll also instantly change this icon. So you will see sometimes if you're not getting internet connection, sometimes you would have forgotten to turn it on again. And so this is a very easy way to see, oh, okay, the Amazon Echo is not working because I turned it off. Let me go and turn it on. So Again, very easy, simple. Okay. So with this we talked about the managed Wi-Fi, which is an extremely critical service. But next, I want to talk about gateway security. And again, if we look at the prosumer trend and where you want to work from home, your kids want to go to school, learn from home, even once school start, there will be a lot of tools and ways in which they can continue online education. So you want to do that. And for all of these reasons, if gateway security, online security was important before, it's absolutely critical now, right? And so let's look at that. First of all, 71% of the subscribers worry that they will be victims of cybercrime. 84% want protection for all their devices at home. And 72% would be willing to pay. Now, this is a slightly older survey. This was done pre-COVID. And for better or for worse, these numbers, I promise you, are much higher now for something like a secure broadband. Now, what are some of the biggest threats to network security? And F-Secure, I'll talk a little bit more about them. They are one of our partners in developing this solution. So this was research conducted by them. So first of all, IoT devices. Now, Zyxel, we started working on a security solution about 3 years ago when once Amazon Echo and the popularity of the Echo device, the voice-based solution became apparent and people started bringing smart home devices at an alarming rate, we knew that this was going to create a security issue because things like your garage door opener or your smart lock, they are not designed with security in mind. They're just designed to do one thing only, and they're inexpensive. So you need a different way to protect your home because these become the weak links and they can be breached and it exposes your entire home security. So the other thing is if you have a home gateway and, we kind of try to inform our customers of upgrading the firmware constantly. And sometimes, we want to make sure that your firmware is up to date so that all your customers are protected from the current threats. So that's critical. Again, then personal information and your credentials. There are phishing attacks. We'll talk about that that can get lost and stolen. And so all of these are threats that we need to guard against. Okay, so just a quick, if you look at this phishing attacks, this layout statistics between just January and April of 2020, you can see the biggest. So phishing attacks essentially is when either through email or through a URL, somebody poses to be Bank of America or Chase just to try and steal your information, right? And there has been a huge spike in phishing attacks over the last several months. And banks, I mean, they generally pose either as banks, because that's where the most lucrative information they can steal. And so it's no surprise that all the banks are right here as the big, and then of course, PayPal, Netflix, and so on and so forth. So these are all the threats that subscribers are aware of, they're facing, and they need protection from. So we kind of realized this, like I mentioned, each of these products are kind of the weak link. Anybody gets into one of these products and they can expose your entire home. And so that's the bad news. Now, the good news is that all of these products talk to the internet through your gateway. So if you can secure the gateway, if you can put solid security on the gateway, you are protected against or you have protected all the devices that sit inside the house, right? So that's the one thing. The even better news is you as a service provider, you are providing this gateway. So this offers you a way to add premium service on top of, to add a premium service and something that your customers really want, right? So with that in mind, we decided to create the solution. We partnered with F-Secure. F-Secure has been around for over 30 years. They're based out of Finland. They're a global security company, and we wanted to partner with somebody who had top credentials in this field, who had a solid roadmap and expertise in cloud protection, because security is a moving target, and we wanted to make sure that the company we partnered with had a ton of devices, millions of devices currently deployed all over the world, so they're getting up-to-the-minute information. And B, they had solid expertise in machine learning, which F-Secure does over the last, they have accumulated a ton of intelligence over the last 10 years just in artificial intelligence. So with all of that, we decided to partner with them and create eHome Shield. Do we have this one, Rochelle?
Sorry, I don't have that. I only have the last poll.
Okay. So let's look at what are the top features. Oops, sorry. So first of all, there are 3 different components of the solution. So the first one, we partnered with F-Secure, took their software, integrated within the Zyxel platform. And this took us a significant amount of time because we wanted to make sure that the platform was integrated in a way that it did not compromise any performance, right? Which it doesn't, because if security at the expense of speed or performance is not going to be very helpful. So it takes less than 2% of the computational power. And that's the software that F-Secure has created. They do a lot of intelligent screening without having to do deep packet inspection and provide cloud-based security, which makes it very efficient. And then, of course, you've got the mobile app, because that's the way average users want to interact with the customers, right? So being able to being able to create an app that is extremely easy was also an equally important criteria for us. Okay, so those are the 3 components. Now the features. As far as the features, these are the top 4 concerns for customers, and we wanted to add all those 4, combine them into a single solution. Viruses, of course, family protection. So over the last 2 to 3 years, parental control is and parental monitoring, content filtering has been critical. In fact, a lot of there are several offerings that are just offering parental control, but we think that was fine 2 years ago. But now, with all the other trends, your subscribers would want a much more comprehensive security, right? So the other thing, smart home protection, we already talked about this, and smart browsing, so to protect you from all these phishing attacks. So all of this we combined into one solution, and we created eHome Shield RG. Okay. Now, again, these are some slides, but let's kind of look at the actual demo. Okay. Okay, so this, I am just projecting my phone onto, can you see my phone?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, thank you, Rochelle. So let's look at, so that's the app. I have it running on my, I have an EMG 6726, and that's the app currently. Right off the bat, it tells you the total number of devices connected, your home network is secured, and okay, so that's, again, even this app has device intelligence. Again, it shows you all the different the devices that I have on my network, and again, very easy to edit the name. And again, both the apps, very easy to, there you go, right? So next up, let me show you. So this is where we do the profile-based parental control. I can, if you have kids, you can easily add profiles for them. Let's say Jen. Cool. And you can add devices. So that's Jen's laptop. Again, you can decide, very easy to decide what times they're allowed to access the, or they're prevented from access the internet. No, it's 8 o'clock. And then weekends, still 8 to 9, right? So I can adjust, very easy to adjust that. And then parental control. I'm sorry, content filtering. Again, you've got all the different categories, the essential categories easily listed over here. So you can decide what you want to turn on. She's too young to shop. Video streaming is okay. Social networks, no. And unknown, no. Okay, finish. Boom, that's it. So you've added the profile, you go back to the home. Now this is where this application really shines. So first, of course, you've got the threats where if whenever it blocks any viruses, antivirus, or it'll show all of that to you. Now, as a service provider, this is very useful because it shows your subscribers the value for this service constantly, right? But here, this events is even better because here I can see whenever, let's say Jen tries to access, let's say poker.com, she will be blocked, but I will get a notification saying that Jennifer tried to access, and that's where the icon and these avatars really help. If you have 2, 3 kids, you can know right away who's doing what, and then you can see, oh, okay, there was, Jen tried to go on johnnywalker.com, which is blocked. Now you can have a conversation with the kid, right? So that's great. Other features as well, you can add whitelists and blacklists, right? So if there is a website that the kid needs to go to for research and it's blocked, you can just enable that particular website and you can do that kind of stuff. So very simple to use. As you can see, all the features are right here. And again, that's something that, again, makes it, okay. So, now having solid set of features was extremely important, but in order, we wanted to go beyond that. We wanted to make sure that the service activation was also extremely easy. And we developed, again, in partnership with F-Secure, we developed this entire system that is totally online activation. So within 2 minutes, in fact, you can send out links to your subscribers. They can click on it, and within 2 minutes, they can start the service. On the back end, you get an email with their information, so you can update your CRM systems and get the whole thing working. In addition to that, we have training materials, marketing materials, email templates, videos, and blogs, all of this content that we provide to you that you can rebrand easily. And again, so you don't have to do all of that. We create these templates, give it to you on a regular basis, and then you can use them. Okay, so we have a ton of these resources, and research shows that service providers who are using multi-channel marketing, that they can see at least 82% higher sales, right? Again, all of this, and it's one of the reasons why it took us some time to develop this, because it was not just putting together a product, but all the things that go to make this product successful for you. Okay. Now, how do you monetize it? So first of all, we've got two different products. One, of course, the one that we've been talking about all this time, it's called eHome Shield RG, which is gateway security. But we said, some of your customers might want endpoint security as well for some of the devices that they use outside the house. And so we bundled that with on-the-go and gateway, and we're offering two different products. We still think that the gateway security is the top. It's an easy sell, pretty much. It has the parental control and all of these features that makes it very easy. And then we have priced it in such a way so that the gateway security, you can monetize it in a ton of different ways. You can add it as part of your managed Wi-Fi offering, and a lot of customers are doing that. You can bundle it, tied up with your one of your higher tier broadband service. So there are, there's so many different ways that, in fact, one of the customers, they started selling two options, broadband service and secure broadband service. And that the blue graph shows them the trajectory that they were expecting before they had an option for broadband, secure broadband. And the red line is the actual trajectory where they saw a clear jump in the amount of services that they were, or in the amount of customers, the new customers that they were able to acquire. The other thing I would like to emphasize here, that we have made sure that these services, the eHome Shield services, is added to our existing, in fact, even our EOLs like VMG 4825 and EMG 3425 that have been EOLs, but even those products have, all you need is a newer firmware, and those products also support eHome Shield. So if you want to go out, if you have a deployed base of these products, if you upgrade the firmware, you can start monetizing these customers or adding value to these customers as well. So again, so many options to monetize this service. Last, I would just end with this slide. I like to, anytime you have a service, managing customer experience and expectations is paramount. And it starts with setting the right expectations. If you set the right expectations, then you can meet and exceed them. And that can be done through communication, both internally and external communication, extremely important. And then measuring. If you don't measure, you don't know how you do it. And there are two simple ways. I mean, just one simple kind of question. Are you every 6 months, every year, again, how are you doing with the service? You will see these smiley faces everywhere these days. And it really helps, instead of saying, on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, having these smiley faces, research shows that it draws people more towards answering it, instead of just numbers seem really cold. But if you have these faces, they seem, even their icons, they seem more friendly, and people are more likely to answer these questions. Something to keep in mind. With that,
yep, I have that
I'm pretty sure we have this one. So this is a multi-question. If we'd really appreciate your feedback here. This is essentially, and you can answer all these questions if this is your first webinar, and then if you're satisfied with this. So perfect. Thank you. Maybe we can wait for a couple of seconds.
All right.
Thank you so much for your feedback. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. Okay, with that, I will turn it back to you, Rochelle. And if you have any,
Questions?
we have about time just we can take a couple because I want to leave some time for you to do the raffle as well.
Yeah.
So maybe we can answer a couple of questions. How about that?
Absolutely. All right. The first question, are the mesh Wi-Fi and eHome Shield apps same or different?
Oh, thank you for that question. So they are different apps, and it's just two reasons. One was that the amount of work or effort into creating a single, simple, integrated app across all the different product lines. Like I mentioned, we even offer eHome Shield service on the products that are EOL was extremely challenging. The other aspect to this is both these apps are used separately. So they are complementary apps more. And I would use the Wi-Fi for Wi-Fi related things. I would use for parental control or for security. So you're not using these apps at the same time. So we felt that the trade-off between the complexity and time to market on creating one app versus the benefit that our customers and your subscribers can derive from getting the solution today was totally outweighed, and having the two apps made way more sense to do it that way. So thanks for that question, though.
Right. Our next question, do subscribers need mobile app for the EmproMesh system to work?
Another great question. I tried to address it during the presentation as well. No, you don't. So the Empro Mesh system works independently of the mobile app. It is a very beneficial accessory, but it is not requirement by any by any stretch. So you're totally welcome to use it without the app. But then the other point is it is available to you. We do not charge you extra for the app. It is available, so you can take advantage of it.
Great. All right. Last question.
One more question really quick.
Yep.
Okay.
One more question.
Great.
We already offer
Okay.
endpoint security. So what is the additional advantage to offering gateway security at this time?
That's another very good question. Thank you. So if you're so these two are very different products. So the question, I don't know. Let me repeat the question. The attendee is already offering an endpoint security product right now. And so they're saying if there is really an incremental benefit to adding gateway security. So a few things here. First of all, endpoint security is good. Of course, it can protect one particular device, let's say a laptop or a mobile phone that it is installed onto, right? So in order for endpoint security, it works with the devices. I have to individually install it to the different devices, and then it'll only protect that one device. So that's with a gateway security, as we saw, it protects everything that's inside the house. Number one. Number two, it is the smart home devices like the door locks, the smart locks, or the garage door openers, or the thermostat. These don't have antivirus, right? So you can only do that with the gateway security. And then the third, and this is quite often, because end users don't have to go out and individually install these onto the different devices. It's just download the app and it works within 2 minutes, right? Or less. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to install any software or anything at all. It is a much faster, quicker, and a lot more people will install, deploy, and use it. So that is a huge benefit, and we see that the adoption rate, the penetration of gateway security would be based on that much stronger, and you would be able to generate revenue much faster. Also, because it has this parental control, profile-based parental control, it kind of, those are the things that your subscribers are asking for right now. So it seems like a huge benefit to adding that.
All right, I guess that would be it, Jake, for the questions.
Thank you. Rochelle, if you want to do the
announce the winners.
The raffle.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Drum roll. Okay, the winners are Bob Green and Joel Chima. Congratulations, guys. That's Bob Green and Joel Chima. Back to you, Jake.
Thank you, everyone. I don't have anything more to add. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week and weekend. And take care. Thanks, Rochelle, for hosting. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Jake. Thank you for that informative webinar. And we will see you for the next webinar, and have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.